I'm a state senator from up in Albuquerque and also a candidate for a state auditor. Thank you. I represent the district up in Albuquerque around the Air Force Base and also serve as your majority whip in the state Senate for the Democrat side. And I want to tell you just a little bit about myself and then about the state auditor's race. The first thing is I was born and raised here in New Mexico, and I enjoyed growing up here, but I, like a lot of kids who grew up here, didn't want to leave when I was in college, and I left for 10 years. I went away, got my schooling at Notre Dame, and a finance degree, and eventually an MBA at Harvard. I spent some time also abroad, and I worked for several nonprofits, actually in Cambodia and some other places. And the longer that I was gone, actually, the more and more I longed to come back home to New Mexico. And it was out there I also decided I was going to dedicate the rest of my life to public service here in New Mexico. So about 10 years ago, I moved back home, and since then I've been involved in politics in the state and in public service. And I was elected about 6 years ago in the Senate. Since then, most of you who are familiar with me know that I'm known for a few things. One of them is running a lot of bills. I've run hundreds of pieces of legislation, which I think is a key part of being progressive, is really pushing the envelope. And some of those bills that have been successful are around good government. And that includes the PRC reform that Mary Souls talked about. That was a bill I was proud to sponsor and pass. And I spend a lot of time trying to clean up and fix broken government agencies. And I believe the State Auditor's Office is a great platform to continue doing that. So I want to do three things as State Auditor: crack down on fraud, waste, and abuse, and follow the footsteps of our current auditor. The second thing is I also want to try and prevent fraud, waste, and abuse from happening by pushing and advocating for good government policies on the front end before those things happen. The last thing I want to do is continue to fight for transparency and accountability in every aspect of state government. So what that means for you is really three things, three examples. When there are behavioral health audits that are botched, I will be there to stand up to the governor. When there's educational over testing, I'll point out how that's a bad use of taxpayer money. And I'll fight against those corporate loopholes that continue to eat away at education funding. Thank you very much.